Good morning everyone. This is your class for business study, and in this class we are going to study the unit 3 of business study, and under that we have studied various form of public enterprise. Now we will study the changing role of public sector in an Indian economy. Okay. So as you can see, public sector in India was created to achieve two main objectives. The first one was to speed up the economic growth of the country. That is what we wanted, that we should grow the economy of the country. There should be economic growth in the country. Our GDP will be increased. This is what we wanted at that time. And the second was to achieve a more equitable distribution of income and wealth among people. What happened that after independence, there was an inequality in the distribution of income. So public sector was more focused to make equitable distribution of income. Equitable distribution of income means the one who is earning more, that person is already getting more. So the public sector was totally focused toward providing benefit to those who are not earning enough to earn their bread of daily life. So this is how they just contributed toward equitable distribution of income and wealth among people. The role and importance of public sector changed with time. As you can see now, public sector is involved in each and every sector of Indian economy. Its role over a period of time can be summarized as following. Okay, so let's go. The first one is development of infrastructure. What happened that at the time of independence, what was happening in India? There was shortage of industry. Indian people don't know the technical know-how, and hence there was an acute shortage of heavy industry such as engineering, iron, steel, oil refineries, heavy machineries, etc. Why? Because we don't know how to make them. We don't have enough of machinery. We don't have much capital to invest in these industries. Because of huge investment required and long gestation period, private sector was not willing to enter this area. At that time, India was very much poor country, and the private people were not able to invest much in these sectors because their gestation period. Gestation period means the period on which the capital will be returned. That means if you have 100 rupees and from that 100 rupees you produced a bag, and after that bag will be converted into money by selling the bag into the market. So from the point of production, when you converted capital into bag, and at the point of consumption when you converted bag into cash, this is the period of gestation. This is known as gestation period. Okay. The duty of development of basic infrastructure was assigned to public sector, which it discharged quite efficiently. What happened that the basic duty, that is the development of infrastructure. Why? Because huge investment was needed for that sector's development, as well as there was a great risk also. We need a lot of machinery, but we don't have enough of machinery. So the only way we have is to develop the infrastructure with the help of labor. So private individual or private sector was not able as well as not willing to invest in this sector. So public sector took an initiative to run the business in this sector. Next is regional balance. Earlier, most of the development was limited to few areas like port, town. For providing employment to people and for acceleration of economic development of backward areas, many industries were set up by public enterprise in those areas. What happened? Like whenever you are going to open an industry in any area, then the employment level of that area will automatically increase. Okay, because if an industry is opened in the area of Amb, then the people who are unemployed in Amb have an opportunity to get a job. Okay, so employment opportunity there increases, and the regional balance means the equality between people living in backward area as well as well developed area is reduced somehow. How? By giving them employment opportunity. By employment they will earn money, and hence their standard of living will increase. So this was also done by public sector because they have started development in backward areas. Third was economies of scale. In certain industries like power plants, natural gas, petroleum, etc., huge capital and large base are required to function economically. Such areas were taken up by public sector. Look, some industries are present in the modern era which need huge amount of capital, as well as they can't be opened on small scale, which means they can only be opened on large scale. That means huge capital, large base. And that was not possible for private sector. So that was overtaken by public sector. Control of monopoly and restrictive trade practices. Now what happened that if a private sector company is in monopoly or is doing restrictive trade, then what does public company do? Public company just create a competition in front of that monopoly of private sector and hence just destroy that monopoly and restrictive trade practices. This is how private sector have developed in our country. The last is import substitution. As public sector noticed that people are engaged in importing goods from abroad. Why? Because that were not produced in India. So the focus was shifted to produce that goods or similar goods or their substitutes in India. Okay, so that the import from other countries will decrease and simultaneously our foreign capital, our foreign income will be saved. Okay, this was all about public sector's role in changing environment of our country. Next is global enterprise. Now what are global enterprise? Global enterprise are also known as multinational companies. They are also known as multinational company. And a multinational company, as clear from its name, is a company that is operating in multiple nations. Okay, that is running in multiple nations. A multinational company is that company which is registered in one particular country. Registration is only in one country, but whose products are produced and sold in various other countries, which means branches are there in other countries also. These are known as global corporations. In our daily life, we have heard about many of this, like Tata Motors, Asian Paints, Cadbury, and many other are there. They are those multinational companies whose products are used in almost all household. Look, what does multinational basically means? A country that is operating in more than one country. A company that is operating in more than one country. That is a multinational company. And these are opened on large scale because these are opened in number of countries. Along with that, they have well established reputation, goodwill, and they involve huge capital. Let's go to what feature to make it more clear. Huge capital resources. Look, if you are going to open it in many countries, then you need more capital. Okay. Second is international operation. Yes, we are operating in more than one country, so international operations are there. Third is centralized control. Because we have registered in a particular country and we have head office in that particular country. So the control from that particular country will be centralized to all branches. The control will be from home country branch and all the branches and subsidiaries will be controlled from that central department. Okay, so there is a centralized control in this. Next is foreign collaboration. Usually they enter into agreement relating to scale of technology, production of goods, use of brand name, etc. with local firm in the host country. Like what happened, foreign collaboration, let me explain that a company enters into an agreement with some other countries for a particular work to be done in their country. Like suppose India is making this pen and is contracted with some other country to handle the marketing department of this particular pen in their country. So this will be foreign collaboration when our country just collaborate with foreign countries company. Why? To just run their business smoothly. Next is advanced technology. When we are in a multinational company, we use advanced and superior technology to produce good quality products because we have to compete with international brands. Next is product innovations. Innovations mean discoveries. MNCs are highly sophisticated research and development department. These are engaged in developing new products and superior design of existing product. Yes, they have separate specialized department regarding research and development which innovates new product as well as make changes in the old product. Next is marketing strategies. MNCs use aggressive marketing strategies. Their brand are well known and spend huge amount on advertisement and sale promotion. They are famous. Why? Because they have advertisement on a large scale, sale promotion on a large scale. They spend much amount on these things and after a time they have established their goodwill and there is no need of advertisement in the end. This is their strategy of marketing. Now comes to some merits of multinational companies. So the first merit is quality because they have to compete with the goods that are present in the international market. So multinational company have to produce good quality product, otherwise they will just fail. Mass production. It produces huge number of quality goods to satisfy the customer from all over the world because we have to produce for a large number of population, so we have to produce it on a large scale. Mass production will be there because we have to make supply to the goods in whole world. Next is low cost of production products, because you are producing number of goods on a huge scale, and when you have achieved economies of scale, the cost of product automatically decrease because the fixed cost is same for every number of product. Either you are producing low number of products or high number of products, you will get the benefit only if you produce large number of products. Next is employment. Yes, if many industries are opened under branch, then employment will be there for a number of people. And what happened that usually employment for the host country is increased. Increase in government revenue. Multinational company will sell their product in large numbers, and it will be taxable profit. By the way of tax, government will also earn revenue. Next is increase in export. When we are producing enough of the goods in our country, then we need to sell it outside the country because we have satisfied the demand of local area. Then we need to go outside the country. So yes, we will export our goods to just get the benefit of whatever we have produced. Next is industrialization. Multinational company helps in industrialization. It brings more capital in the business and help to establish industries, because multinational companies are companies that are opening industries in every area, every country. So yes, they are bringing industrialization. The more the capital they earn, the more the capital they have, they will invest it in producing of more industries. Okay, so these were some of the merits of multinational company. Now comes to demerits of multinational company. The first one is outflow of foreign exchange. When a multinational company's branch is opened, the earning that happens in that branch will ultimately go to the home branch, which means foreign exchange outflow will be there. Next is negative effect on local industries, because it is very much difficult to compete with the multinational company's product, so the local industries ultimately fail in the market. Okay. The third is economic exploitation. Look, the main aim of multinational company, now this is visible, the main aim of multinational company is to earn maximum profit, and they just exploit natural resources as well as labor for this. They want to produce maximum goods on minimum cost. By this way they will earn profit, but what happens, they are not paying sufficient to the labor as well as natural resources, so they are exploiting them. Next is exploitation of customer. Look, multinational companies produce goods on a large scale. That means they are producing it on a lower cost. And when they are producing it on a lower cost, then just due to their reputation, their good names, they charge very high price from the customer just due to their good name. Which means you are producing the goods on a very small price and selling it on a very large price. The difference, that is the profit, is very huge, which means you are exploiting the customer. You are charging excessive rate from them. So this is a demerit of multinational company. Next is inequality of employees. Yes, inequality is also there, because as I said, more employees are preferred from the host country or the country where the home branch is, and the other countries like the branches from that country, the employees are very much less. Okay, and even they try to attract the employees from underdeveloped countries because there the labor is cheaper, and in developed country the labor rate is very high, so they want to attract employees from the country where the wage rate is low just to earn high profits. This is the last demerit of multinational company, and this is all about today. Have a very good day, students.